You spoke in the offseason about Cam and adapting to a bigger role than he had at Florida State. Played 30-plus minutes in both those games over the weekend. How do you think he's adapting to this role so far?
I think he's done a good job. There's an adjustment period, or an adjustment, I should say, when you're playing more minutes. How do you take care of your body? How do you recover to be prepared for the next game? I think he's gotten better and better at that as he's gotten acclimated to playing a little bit more. But I think he's done a good job.
Will Dunn's ankle heal before his thumb?
I hope so.
Is that the plan?
I don't know the plan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how the body works, but I think the ankle will be better before the hand.
Okay.
Ish has been you guys' ace defender. He's been doing a great job this year. Damian was another presence there. Who do you see stepping into that role as far as being the next sort of guard or presence that can take on that role?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I think we have to do it collectively as a group. I don't know if we have one person that could provide for us what Dame did in that standpoint. Because Dame is a sixth-year guy. He's older. He's played a lot, and he's been in a lot of experiences guarding perimeter guys. The other perimeter guys that we have in our program right now are freshmen. And so I don't know if we have one person that can step up and do the things defensively that Dame was able to provide for us. But we collectively as a group have to do a good job.
Where are guys like Brandon and Amsel, two first-year guys for you guys? Where are they defensively?
Yeah, I mean, they've done a solid job, but they're freshmen. They're new. All of it's new. So it's a big learning curve, game to game, game plan to game plan, who you're playing against, what their strengths are, being able to do all of that. Those guys work at it. They have pride in it, but it's going to be very different from them and a sixth-year guy, an older guy that's been in college and that understands all the stuff that it takes to be a really good player and a really good defender on a consistent basis.
It would seem that those two guys will get more minutes. I mean, they got more minutes on Sunday. It would seem they'll get more minutes with Dame out. How much can that accelerate their development over these next 6 weeks?
Yeah, well, I think it can accelerate it. I mean, Beavis played, but he played more at the Greenbrier. Certainly, Amsel played the most minutes he played against Wisconsin. Whether Dame got hurt or not, he was going to see more minutes in the Wisconsin game. In that game, Amsel was. And they are going to have to grow up quickly, and we understand that. Our guys have a lot of confidence in them. I have a lot of confidence in them. And we understand that there are going to be some mistakes and some things that we have to live through. But those guys, I think, will be excited and be ready for an opportunity that's presented to them.
Have you identified a fifth starter yet?
Nope.
For Ohio State?
Nope.
Ohio State's Aaron Bradshaw, their 7-footer who was in the starting lineup the first few games, hasn't played the last two. They said he's not participating with the team. How do you guys prepare your front court for that opportunity when you don't know if he's going to be there or not? Yeah,
well, it doesn't sound like he's going to be there, so we're anticipating him not being there. If he's there, then he's there. We have film of both, with him in the lineup and playing a lot in the last two games, with him not being there. So we'll be prepared. They're a really good team with Aaron Bradshaw. They're a really good team without Aaron Bradshaw. Other guys for them have stepped up in their front court. They have some older guys in the front court that understand what college basketball is about, and then they have older guys in their backcourt. And so they're a really good basketball team playing with a lot of confidence. Certainly they have a great home court, and we're just excited about the opportunity for our first true road game against a really good team.
How would you kind of assess the way that the guys handled the test that they faced against LSU and Wisconsin?
Yeah, I thought we fought. I thought we put ourselves in a position to win the basketball game. We did some really good stuff in both games. In the second game, the championship game, it's a one-possession game, 71-70, with a little bit over 3 minutes left. We get a stop, but we can't get the rebound, and it leads to them scoring. And then we come down and, we turn the basketball, or we get a shot, we don't score, and then they come down and they score again. And so it's little things that we have to correct. I thought we ran out of gas a little bit against Wisconsin. And they're an outstanding basketball team, and they made huge plays down the stretch, and we just didn't make them. I like where we are. I like how we've responded the past few days in practice. And we look forward to the opportunity that we have in front of us.
Ohio State scores a pretty similar clip as Wisconsin, but differently. They hit a lot of 3-pointers to lead the Big Ten. 3-pointers made and percentage. What do you guys have to be better at to prepare for that?
Well, we have to guard the ball better, so we're not in rotations. We didn't do a good job of guarding the basketball against Wisconsin, specifically in the second half. We did a great job in the first half, but in the second half, they were able to drive us over and over, and it got us in rotations. Wisconsin was different because theirs led to mainly 2-point field goals and then getting fouled. So we have to be able to guard the basketball. Against Ohio State, our transition defense is big because they push it for threes. And they have 3 guys that can really, really shoot it. All of them are shooting over 40%. 2 of them are over 50%. One of them is at an unbelievable 59% from 3 on a lot of attempts. Over half of his attempts are from there. And so we have to have an awareness, and then we have to guard the basketball and not be in rotations all game.
Just basically just defensive intensity that you need to work on.
Well, we've been pretty good defensively. We had a half where we weren't, and against an outstanding team like that, they made us pay for it. Defensive discipline, I would say, is more of the word. The intensity, but more of the discipline to not reach, to have our footwork be right, not open our stance up, to be alert. In this game, it's going to be alert off the ball. We need to be in gaps early, being ready to build back out to shooters. And we have to guard the basketball.
You said Amsal would have played more against Wisconsin regardless of whether Dan got hurt. Was it a matchup thing you liked, or just his continued growing minutes?
It was 2 things. It was a matchup thing. That was a big part of it. But also I loved how he practiced on the day in between. And then in the shoot around that morning of game day, just his focus, his intensity, all of those things led to where I felt like he would have played.
Ohio State does a good job limiting shots and creating steals and keeping teams from getting into their rhythm. What do you guys have to do offensively to counter what they do on defense?
We have to be really strong with the basketball. We have to be able to play through physicality. They're a physical basketball team, especially defensively. And then we have to be able to adapt to what they're doing with their ball screen coverages. From what we've seen on tape in all their games, they've mixed it up. They have coverages they used when they had Bradshaw. They've done a little bit, some different things without Bradshaw. And so we have to be able to make in-game adjustments and reads and be able to adapt and to make plays from there. But the main thing is that we have to be strong, and we have to make sure we get a good shot every time down the floor.
Do you anticipate Zach having a bit more of a role in terms of offense going forward for this team?
I think he's had a role on offense. He's had opportunity. I mean, Zach's been a really good player for us. I don't think anything will increase or decrease. I think it'll be kind of how it is. There are opportunities for everyone. Zach has to play to his strengths, the things that we need him to do, which he's done all year. And he's been really good for us all year.
Are you asking him to take on a different role than he did last season, or you mostly just asking him to do the same things he did last year?
Yeah, it's not really a different role. It's just to be a consistently good player. He showed glimpses last year where he was good, but then there were times where there was inconsistency with his play. We need him to take and make open shots, good shots, to be a great cutter, great offensive rebounder, and a really good defender. Now we need him to rebound more. In the game against Wisconsin, he had 1 rebound in the whole game. So he's got to do a better job there. But he has more experience in our program, but the role is similar to what he had last year, which is to be a good player, which we want him to be a good player.
Are you seeing his shot blocking affect opponents, even if he doesn't get a block, it's changing the way guys are attacking?
A little bit. It was interesting. The same blocks that were blocks were goaltends at the Greenbrier, especially in the LSU game. I thought he had 2 that were called goaltended. I didn't think were goaltending. I didn't think they were close to goaltending. But I do think there's an awareness that he is around. He's got to be, as we go forward, because teams will know that. They'll have stuff on film. And so, look, other coaches are smart. And so they'll try to make some adjustments, and, he's got to be able to adapt and adjust to that.
You said you're still deciding on the 5th starter. Sometimes coaches talk about having that 6th guy who comes off the bench, provides that spark off the bench. How do you sort of value that, and how does that affect your decision of whether to keep Zach in that role or move into the?
Yeah, well, it is something that we look at. You know, for us, we're in an interesting spot right now with Dame out because, you know, do we go with someone in the starting lineup that has experience, or do we go with someone that doesn't, where we can bring someone off the bench that has experience? The past 2 years has helped us bringing someone off the bench that has experience and that can provide a spark. The past 2 years has mainly been offensively. You know, this year, Zach, I think, has done it on both sides. It's probably been louder defensively, but he's had some games offensively with making wide open threes, cuts to the basket, you know, and things like that. And so we just, it's trying to figure out what this team needs, you know, not thinking about last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. What I'm trying to figure out is what this particular team needs right now in this moment. And we're evaluating everything that we're doing, and as we get to game time, we'll have a decision.
How stronger do you think Guillermo has learned to play in his game? You know, there was a lot of physicality in that Wisconsin game, but it seemed like he has countered what teams have tried to do to knock him off of his game, both on both sides of the floor.
I think Guillermo's done a good job. You know, he's rebounded really well for us. I think he's been our second leading rebounder, maybe our leading defensive rebounder. Certainly, I think he's gotten better with defending guys away from the basket. You know, he's taking good shots. He hasn't made them at the clip that we think that he can make them, that he's made them in the past. But we anticipate going forward that he'll make shots as long as he's taking good shots. You know, teams are playing him differently. They're playing him for the three-point shot now. So we're trying to incorporate some rip drives or some shot fake pull-ups and things like that. But I think he's done a good job and he's getting better.
You had a strong take on one of those where they played him at the perimeter and he just took it to the well. What kind of work has he put in to make that a more consistent thing?
Yeah, he works on his game. I mean, he works on his game a lot every day before and after practice. He's a gym rat, and that's why I anticipate him continuing to get better.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see you guys.